70,000 of you watched my last video and saw me lose money on the 7-unit building. And then the comments went crazy. Some people showed love and gave me advice. Other people hated and left some pretty funny comments. It's only been a week since this video dropped. I don't want to pretend like everything magically turned around, but I have been able to show a couple of the units, tenant for the commercial unit downstairs that's open to fixing things up. And I also have potential tenants for upstairs for that 3-bedroom apartment that I just finished. So I am moving the ball forward and I am getting things done. Since posting that video, I've gotten over 1,000 comments and I read every single one of them. A lot of the people showed love and gave me advice on what to do next. A lot of people hated. A lot of people said I don't know what I was doing. A lot of people were telling me to sell. They said I should have got an inspection, an appraisal. Some people said I should just quit and do OnlyFans. I don't know about that one. So I'm going to break down a lot of the comments. And then the biggest lesson from the comments is that what I've noticed is that real estate is a tough business to be successful in. And the stat is like 90% of everyone in real estate fails. Only 10% actually become successful in real estate. So I understand it's hard. And a lot of the comments were just telling me to give up, to quit, never do this, file bankruptcy, and all these other things. But obviously I know what I'm doing and I have options. What that actually does opens my eyes to the fact that most people don't ever do anything because they're scared to fail. And because of social media, they don't want to look bad in front of a lot of people. But the difference is I'm not scared to fail. I'm not scared to look bad. Obviously, I made this video. I'm not scared to learn from my mistakes, because how are you supposed to learn? How are you supposed to get good at something without actually doing it? And that's what a lot of people are scared. They're scared to be bad at first. But in order to be good, you got to be bad first. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to let that stop me from growing. And then the other thing too is like, yeah, I don't have experience being a landlord or having rentals, but how do you get the experience? By doing it and then learning as you go. And that's what I'm doing, because I have sold buildings before. I have done property management. I've done everything, but I haven't done it for myself. And then it's so different when you're writing the check and you're paying the repairs and you're taking care of everything versus you're working for someone and you're doing the same thing and you're doing property management, you're calling contractors, but you're not paying for it. It's completely different. The point of me making this video wasn't to cry that it's so hard. I'm just documenting what I'm doing, what works and what doesn't work. Also, when I did the original video, I just said this is my first investment property. I'm at my first rental investment property. I have done flips. I have done wholesale deals. I'm still a licensed agent. I've done a lot of commercial deals. So like I am knowledgeable and I've made clients a lot of money, and I've made a lot of money for myself flipping real estate. Now, I don't have experience buying property myself, holding it, renting it, but I do have experience doing rehabs. So I don't want to pretend like I have all the answers, and I don't. And if you watch all my videos, you know that the goal is just to document what I'm doing and not necessarily teach you, because I'm not a guru. I'm just showing what I'm actually doing, what works, what doesn't work. And if you take value in that, great. But if you don't, it is what it is. I'm just documenting it so I could show like you could start with nothing and make it happen. And that's the point of all my videos. So of course I'm going to make mistakes, but unlike most of the people online, I don't care if I look bad. As long as it's helping someone and as long as I learn from it, then it is what it is, and I'm not gonna cry about it. So the numbers on the property. I bought the property for $555,000. I put 5% down. It was an owner finance deal. I have the loan for roughly, at this point, I think 2 years left. And the monthly note is $5,000. So a lot of people said I overpaid for the property. The ARV on this property is in the realm of 700 to 750. So I didn't overpay for it. And I got this property off market. A lot of people said that I bought at the top of the market. I didn't. I bought it off market and I got it under what the value was. Now, did I not budget well enough for the repairs and things that were gonna happen? I knew for a fact I had to turn both units, and then I knew that as people moved out, I would start fixing those units up. In the video, I just wasn't expecting to fix a roof on a commercial building. I'm expecting to fix the roof on the 2-family in the back. And then the reason why is I didn't do an inspection. Now, I've bought a lot of properties without doing an inspection. I've done the walkthroughs myself. So I felt confident enough to buy it without the inspection, but that's a mistake. On a flip, I'm so conservative with my numbers that even if the roof came up, I would have budgeted in for the flip. But on this one, I did it a little differently, and I was gonna hold it, so I figured the roof is something I was gonna do eventually. It was just part of CapEx, so I wasn't too worried about it. But what I learned now, if I purchase any buy and hold, anything that I'm holding that I'm gonna rent out, I'm gonna do an inspection. That was the biggest mistake. And then the other thing was people said that if I refinance, my loan is gonna be more than it currently is now. That's not true. I set the terms with the seller since it's a owner finance deal. So once I actually go to a bank and let's say I get a loan from the bank for the same amount that I paid for, my note was gonna be roughly $3,000. So even if I pulled out that 30 grand I was talking about, the note is only gonna be, the mortgage is gonna be roughly 3 grand. It's not really gonna change anything. If I can make it work right now with the 5 grand a month, then it's definitely gonna work when I refinance, because I understand I'm not gonna go and try to take 100,000 out of the property and then I have a 700K loan. Then I'm over leveraged and I'm at the top and I can't sell it. I still have options. I could still sell this property off market and still make a small little profit, or worst case scenario, take my original money out. And I still have an option of selling my equity to my business partner because he said he is open to it. So I do have options. Also, shout out to Anton Daniels. He has the Millionaire Morning Show. He made a video about this whole entire thing and I got a lot of subscribers and I got a lot of people reaching out because of him. So I appreciate it. I'm gonna do a follow-up video or like a reaction video to that one for next week. So stay tuned for that. So moving forward, I'm gonna rent those 2 units. That should stop the bleeding monthly. Another thing too that I said probably too many times is I was gonna raise the rent. A lot of people didn't like that I said I was gonna raise the rent. But you gotta understand this, there's 3 bedrooms in that property that is being rented for $1,000. Three bedrooms go for $1,600 everywhere. That's, you can maybe find something for like $1,500, but $1,600 is the market rate and they're renting for $1,000. And then I have multiple units that are being rented for way under what it's actually worth. Now, another mistake, I did raise the rents because the insurance went up as soon as I bought it and the taxes went up as soon as I bought it. Looking back, I think that was a mistake. I kind of agree with the comments. I think that was dumb, especially if I'm going to fix stuff and then raise the rents again. Obviously, I don't want to just keep raising the rents where it's unaffordable. So the takeaways for other investors: don't underestimate your repair budget. You have to have a reserve so you're not like me and stressed out about repairs, because you have a fund for it if anything does happen. And then of course, this deal is teaching me more than any flip could. But like I said, it's part of the game. It's part of the process. People reached out to me because they're also interested in buying investment properties. And I still think it's a good idea if you run your numbers, if you do the due diligence, if you buy correctly. And most importantly, don't let fear stop you from making the move. After you run your numbers, after you're confident on the deal, you spoke to agents, you spoke to contractors, you did all your due diligence, pull the trigger. Don't be scared to buy a property. Now for the fun part, let's get to the comments. A funny one was that I look like Ish from the Joe Budden podcast. I don't know. I don't think so. I got a lot of comments about I should have put my money in stocks and crypto. So I do like stocks. I'm a big fan of Graham Stephan. I did have money in the index fund. I took the money out to buy real estate. So there's that. Also, I made $40,000 one time on AMC. Now, I know that's not really investing, but I put 5 grand in and then it was up 40,000. And then I took that money out and I bought more real estate. So I do like stocks. I like the safe index funds. And with crypto, I lost a lot of money in crypto, so I really don't like it. But everyone recommended Bitcoin, so I'm going to look more into Bitcoin. It's up at the recording of this video. I think it's like 125,000. And I want to be invested in multiple assets. So from real estate, stocks, crypto, and then eventually private equity, small businesses, and things like that. The hate comments, I can't blame you guys. It's the internet. It is what it is. I'm not going to cry about it as long as you guys were entertained. And then there was a couple funny ones. I'm just going to post them. They were pretty funny. I got thick skin. I'm not worried. One comment that I didn't like was basically someone said that I should call my mom or my dad to help bail me out and get me out of this. Obviously, you guys don't know my backstory. By the time I was 17 years old, I was homeless, living in my car because I've always had a job and I've always flipped things. So I was on my 3rd car by sophomore year and I was flipping cars, I was flipping dirt bikes, flipping phones. I didn't like to listen. I was kicked out of my house at 17 years old and I've been on my own since. I slept in my car in the wintertime in Boston, which you can imagine how cold it is. And I was able to get out of that, figuring this out as I go. And then the best part about it is that on my channel, I've done a whole bunch of successful wholesale deals. I've done a whole bunch of successful flips and I've done giant deals as an agent. And I started with absolutely nothing. But I don't want to bore you guys with no sob story, because one of my favorite quotes is, everyone has a sad story, work harder. And I live by that. So I won't bore you with no sad stories, and I'm still learning. I've not once pretended on my channel to have all the answers, because I don't. And if I did have all the answers, I would already hit my goals. But luckily for you guys, I'm recording the whole thing so that maybe you could do it. I'll keep documenting the 7 unit until it either helps me reach my goals of becoming a millionaire or forces me to sell. Either way, I'm gonna be documenting everything. So subscribe if you wanna see how it plays out. And I'll ask again, if this was your deal, what would you do right now? Also, I wanna plug my free newsletter. If you're interested in real estate, finances, self-development, or what I'm up to on a weekly basis, I have a newsletter that I drop every single Friday. The link is gonna be in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for all the new subs. I'll see you guys on the next one.